Welcome to Talking Kootenay Books. My name is Keith Powell, and our guest today is Ty Kreutzer. Ty, it's great to have you here as a guest today. And you and I have met through your business, and
Yes.
the business is Kootenay Canine. I want to talk a little bit about your business before we get into the book that you've published. So tell me about Kootenay Canine.
Well, Kootenay Canine started as a dog walking company in 2017, and things escalated a little bit along the way, and we built a kennel on 28 acres, which is now located out in Wycliffe.
Okay, so pretty entrepreneurial effort on your behalf and your husband's behalf. How's it gone? Has it sort of met your expectations?
Yes, absolutely. Kennel is busy, lots of puppies, lots of people moving here, never a dull moment. It has exceeded our expectations as far as busyness goes. And yeah, we're really thankful to get to play with all the dogs in the area.
Okay. So what kind of services do you offer to the sort of dog owner?
Yeah, so we have boarding, overnight boarding and daycare in our kennel at the moment. And along with that, sometimes nail trims, bathing for the scruffy puppies, and that's about it at the moment. Overnight boarding is our main focus at the moment.
Right. So of course we have a dog named Skylar, and he loves to come out and
Yes.
play with the other dogs there. I'm just wondering, is that a service that you felt that there was a real demand for?
I do. I think that there's a lot of young dogs, and through COVID especially, with everybody going back to work, there's a lot of dogs that were used to having their parents at home, and with after COVID sending everybody back to work, these dogs needed somewhere to go and play and get all their energy out. So I do feel like it's been a really good service to have.
Right. And I can attest to that, and so can Skylar.
Yeah.
So he loves going out to your premises there. So I want to talk about what led you from being an owner of a Kootenay Canine to publishing a book. So what was the inspiration behind Willard Goes to Camp?
Well, to know Willard is to love Willard. He is one of our regular puppies that comes to the kennel. He's no longer a puppy, but he was quite a bit younger when he started coming. He is so much character, and it was hard not to have multiple stories rolling around in my head. And in the fall, I started just thinking about it a little bit more and started putting pen to paper, and yeah, I just thought he'd be a really good place to start with a children's book.
Well, Ty, the book is really well done and nicely put together. I just want to talk again about the inspiration of the story and how it all went together. I know Willard was one of your clients, or one of the dogs that came fairly frequently. But it's one thing to have a dog show up and you look after it and whatever. But it's another thing to actually take his story and put it together into a book.
Yeah.
And obviously the book is targeted to young children. How did that all come together? What sort of inspired you again to do that?
Well, I also have a 4-year-old son, West, and he was really the inspiration to creating another book, or a first book, I guess I should say. We read every single night, and I kept reading all these books, and I thought, you know what, it's time. I just really want to get my own pen to paper and write a book about the dogs. We spend so much time about it. I love them. And yeah, I thought that was a good place to start. Right.
So it went together, as you said, sort of a fun project for yourself to work on. What's been the reaction to the book now that it's out?
Everybody loves it. There's been some happy tears. Willard's owner especially is a huge fan of the book, and she's bought several copies and handed it out. And our family loves the book. Friends have all had really good things to say about it.
Okay. So it's one thing to have this idea and this inspiration. It's another thing to actually take it to the stage where you put pen to paper and get the book out. Just tell me, how did you go about creating the artwork and getting the text and everything coordinated and put together? I know that that is quite a process.
Yeah, so this was I really didn't know where to start, so I used the Google, and I went online and I found a website that created the art, and it was a bit of a process with finding somebody who could share my vision of the mountains and the dogs, and I had some text on paper, and we worked together seamlessly. She did an amazing job of sort of creating the backdrop that I felt was part of the book, and just really creating Willard in a way that was understandable. He is a very large dog, so bringing him to scale was important to me, and yeah.
Oh, good. And I know that when you put the book together, it was sort of based on some of the actual scenery or things that you would experience, when you looked out on the Rockies from Wycliffe. How did you be sure that your artist understood and appreciated sort of the beautiful mountain setting that surrounds us?
Well, I sent her several pictures. I sent her our Instagram handle to check out, and just through the photos and all the photos that we take every day, you follow our Instagram account, so you know how comprehensive that is. That's what we used to make sure that she knew what we were doing.
Okay. So when you put the book together and then you have this finished product, what's your vision as to marketing it, selling the book, making sure that people sort of get an opportunity to enjoy it?
Well, local bookstores is where I plan to start, and just through our own forms of social media is how I've been promoting it. I haven't had a lot of time, to be honest, to work on that recently. There's a lot going on in the background for us, but this is something that I plan to spend a little bit more time on in the near future.
Sure. Yeah, I can't imagine how busy you are. You got a young child, and also how many dogs would be at the Kootenay Canine at a time?
Yeah, so we generally have anywhere from 40 to 50 dogs out there every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So big responsibility and lots of work, right?
Yeah, and staff and lots of client communication, all that keeps me pretty busy. So.
So can you just give me a little bit of a synopsis, a breakdown as to what the book is about, maybe without telling the whole story, but just give us a quick snapshot.
Yeah, so Willard Goes to Camp is about Willard and his first day coming to see us at the kennel. What that feels like for the dogs, what it's like when they're there during the day, and what it's like to get picked up and go home and tell their stories to their parents.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Willard's pretty enthusiastic, right?
He really is, yeah.
Is that a reflection of what he's like in real life?
Absolutely, yes. He is a full character. He has a lot of personality, a lot more than a lot of them, in a very friendly way.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you must see all kinds of dogs with different personalities and so forth. Let's just talk about the dogs that you host. What do you observe about all the sort of the canine characters that you see?
Anything you can possibly imagine. We have little ones and we have big ones. Willard definitely being on the larger side of things. We have dogs that come in who are nervous. We have dogs who come in who are not nervous whatsoever. Everybody by the end of their first day typically just wants to play, and it goes home tired and dirty and happy. Our goal is to always make sure that the dogs are feeling comfortable in our space and communicating well with the clients to see how we can improve things if it's not going as expected on their first day.
Sure. And you work with the owner of the dog quite closely, do you?
Absolutely. Every dog comes with their own set of puppy politics, as we like to call it. So it's our job to sort of find what makes them happy, and every dog needs something a little bit different. Meeting with every client before they come to the kennel will help us ensure that we get the information we need to give them the best experience possible.
Right. And so that's your goal to do that. How many people do you have working with you?
Currently, we have 4 full-time staff on hand, and then Justin and myself are there as well.
Right. So just physically describe to me the layout of your facility.
Yeah, so we have the kennel. Inside is around 1,400 square feet, and we have 25 suites that we can house the dogs in overnight. Building is fully air conditioned, fully monitored. Outside we have a little over 22,000 square feet with 15 different play yards. All of them have roofs and are nicely shaded in the summertime. And then the whole kennel is situated on 28 acres. Right.
So that 28 acres is a beautiful piece of property. And
it really is.
Like you said, I follow your Instagram account, and I often see the dogs frolicking in the field. So is that part of the experience that you offer?
Absolutely. So it is a dog dependent whether they are allowed on or off leash, and often client specified as well. But the idea is to get every dog out for a walk every day. We feel like exercise is the most important part of their day. And so we get everybody out for lots of pack runs, which is what you see that happens up in our big field on the top of the property.
Right. And that's where the personality really comes out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they get to play with each other, and
Yeah.
it's amazing the social aspect of dogs. They seem to really thrive on that opportunity.
Absolutely. It is pretty incredible to watch the little friendships grow over time, and it's a happy byproduct that I didn't really know was going to come along with this business, but it is one of the best parts of my job is watching them run and play.
Sure. Well, when I pick up our dog Skylar, and he jumps in the back of the car, and I can just see him sitting there vibrating as if he wants to tell me about every dog that he met during the day. So he's always so excited. And he's got a special friend, I think, called Stella.
Yep.
And I can just sort of almost envision him telling me that story about, this is what we did with Stella today. Yeah, he really enjoys the experience. So I'm just wondering, now you talk about Willard, you develop the story about Willard. What other personalities do you see out there? What other kind of dogs do you see out there that you think maybe would lend themselves to a similar story or similar account?
Well, Stella definitely has lots of stories. She's out there quite a bit. She is owned by one of our staff. So Stella has lots of stories to tell every single day. And I think, every dog has a story to tell. And I'm sure if I had the time, I could sit down and write a million stories over. We see every possible personality out there, and it's kind of hard to really put it into words.
But you just sort of observe, and their personality comes out, and it's each one's unique, right?
Absolutely. A lot of what we're watching for is body language and how they interact socially and stuff like that.
So I just want to go back and just talk about dogs in general for just a moment.
Yeah.
Why do we love dogs so much?
Dogs have been my best friend for a really long time. I've had my own dogs. Since I was very little, and there's just something comforting about having them around. And I love all the dogs, as you can see. It's
sort of a neat connection. The old adage, "Dog's man's best friend," certainly plays itself out probably every day.
Absolutely. I never imagined myself at the helm of this many dogs, but it's been a pleasure, and it's been a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah. So let's just step back before you obtained the property in Wycliffe. Was that something that was on the horizon, or did that just sort of come together? Or were you thinking of this as a long-term goal, or how did it end up that you were owners of a company that looked after canines?
So way back when, probably out of high school, one of my close friends in high school, her mom ran a kennel, or I should say more of boarding out of her home on a small acreage in Pemberton. And I bought a property with my ex-husband many years ago, and something that I wanted to do back then. It never did come to fruition, but I had the business plan, and when I met Justin, he asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I said I'd really like to own a kennel one day. And fast forward a few years, we moved out here, we started a dog walking company, and it all just sort of very organically happened. We started as a dog walking company. We were living in town. The opportunity came up to buy this property where we are, which really couldn't be a better property, I think, with our surroundings. And Justin built us the beautiful facility that you see out there now. And it's been a lot of hard work, and there's constant maintenance, and it's been evolving over the 5 years that we've been on the property. But it's been a lot of fun.
So you're strategically located in Wycliffe, and I say that because you're sort of halfway between Kimberley and halfway between Cranbrook. Does that Do you see clients from both communities?
Absolutely. Yep. We have a lot of clients that drive out from Cranbrook that bring us their dogs for daycare and for boarding. And of course, commuters between Kimberley and Cranbrook. We're about 2 minutes off the highway, so it's a really easy drop-off location for them.
Right.
That was really important to us when we were looking for property to purchase.
Right. So, again, getting back to the book, Willard Goes to Camp, is there maybe a sequel or a few other ideas that you would like to put together, sort of percolating in your mind?
Yeah, there's a few. Willard Gets a Brother is on the horizon, and some other ones. I also have some other dogs in mind that I think I might try to write about. But for now, with our summer program on the horizon, I think this might be scheduled for a little later down the road.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have a busy, summer's your busy time, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you offer extra things during the summer? Or?
Not necessarily. We will be much fuller with boarding through the summer,
Right.
through summer holidays. Anytime
With people being away and that kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah, anytime school's out, we seem to be twice as busy. So
Right.
we'll focus on that for the summer, and
Right.
and then yeah, that's.
So how do you keep track of the stories that you want to maybe record or put down on paper? Do you keep notes? Do you keep a journal? How do you keep all those stories, or do you just file them away in your mind?
There's a lot of things rattling around in my head, but I
Yeah.
do have some notes in my phone that I sort of add to here and there when something funny happens.
Right.
Justin has a full comedy going in his head about the dogs all the time, so I think
Right.
he would probably be the next person to
Right.
write a story about the dogs.
So how I know I often see you when I come out to your facility. Don't see Justin a lot. Is he sort of behind the scenes, or am I just missing him?
Nope, we call him, so the kennel is largely operated by a bunch of ladies out there, and Justin is our carpenter and our handy guy, and he does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So he
Right.
built everything, he does
Right.
maintenance, and he most recently started his own construction and renovation company.
Okay.
Now that he has fully renovated our home and the kennel, we just keep him busy with sort of small day-to-day tasks,
Right.
and he keeps himself busy out and about with other clients doing renovating and construction.
Right. So but he is hands-on with the business, but he has some other interests as well.
That's right. So in the beginning, when our son was quite small, he was in the kennel a lot more, and I wasn't per se on maternity leave, but spending a lot more time with our son. And as the kennel has become built and finished, and the house is finished, and there's just less tasks to do, he's just out there a little bit less.
So how old is your son now?
He turned 4 last November. He's almost 5.
So what does he think of a couple of dozen dogs showing up every day?
He thinks it's pretty funny. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he's starting to understand it a little bit more. But quite often, we'll see clients and they'll say, "Who's that?" I say, "Oh, that's a dog mom or a dog dad." And so he often asks if it's Willard's family, because
Okay.
he makes that connection. But I think he thinks it's great, and he hears them, he sees them.
So how many times have you read Willard Goes to Camp to your son?
Oh, a couple dozen by now. It's on the top of the pile. So,
Right.
yeah.
So once this busy summer is over, maybe you can put pen to paper again and start to put together another book?
Yes, West would like it. Our son would like it if we write a book about our own dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many dogs do you have?
We have 2 dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are they?
We have a Lab Husky mix. She turned 12 in December, and we have a Greater Swiss Lab Cross, and she turned 5 in March.
Oh, excellent. So lots of personal experience there too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So have you always been a dog lover?
Always been a dog lover. I have had cats as well, but I still prefer my dogs. Yeah.
Right. I think a couple of weeks ago I was out to your place and I saw a cat walk across the road, and I said, that has got to be the bravest cat in the Kootenays.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Is it your cat, or is it just one of the farm cats?
Yeah, so Blackie came with the property. He was part of the real estate deal.
Right.
He has his own cat house that Justin has renovated for him a couple of times. Of course, everybody gets renovations out there.
Right.
And he's on patrol. He's on Gopher Patrol. He's a great mouser, and he's always around. sometimes at inopportune times when dogs are getting picked up. But he's pretty quick for his old age, and yeah, he's good to have around.
Well, you know what? That might be fodder for another book.
You're right. That could be next. That's a good one.
So congratulations on the book, and keep up the good work. If
Thank
you
you.
were to publish another book, would you tend to use the same artist? Were you happy with that experience?
Absolutely. I think so. I think she really captured the essence of what we were trying to put across, and she was very easy to work with, and I'd be really happy to use her again.
Yeah, well, good. Well, thank you so much, Ty, for being a guest today on Talking Kootenay Books.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your book. The book is Willard Goes to Camp. This is Talking Kootenay Books, and my name is Keith Powell.